This is a Headgum podcast.
So my son Asher is 9, and he's at an age where he's saying the darndest things. I know, it's crazy. But the other night, like apropos of nothing, he was said to me he's like, I wish I could hire like good parents. I said, Asher, I was like, that kind of hurts my feelings. And he goes, oh, your headphones did fall off.
They really did.
Oh, no. Hi, Liz.
Hi, Jessi Klein.
How the fuck are we?
Well, we're doing the best we can given the shitty circumstances that we're all living in.
The times we live in?
The times are interesting.
The times they are changing.
They are. They have.
They have?
I hope they will for
change
the better.
Back. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Cool. Glad we got that out.
Yeah.
I did want to tell you that I took your advice.
Okay.
On a previous pod, I mentioned that my ridiculously adorable 2-year-old daughter,
cutest daughter in the world,
Ezzy, has made a friend / possibly boyfriend ? At school.
Here for the heteronormative of it all.
Listen, no one's more surprised than me and her mom.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah, I am married to a woman. We like to call me a happily married gay, an HMG.
HMG.
So, anyways, I was so excited to find out, right, that Ezzy has this new friend at school.
George.
Evidently, they hold hands all the time. This is what we hear. So I reach out to this is just a recap. I reach out to the mom. Recap. I rostered her.
You rostered her number.
From the school roster.
Went on a date.
We went on a date. It went great.
Group date.
Family date. And then I was just a little bit waiting to hear back.
Right.
Didn't. And not in like a bad way, like we exchanged photos and stuff, right. But like there was never like a hey, let's do this again.
But when last we left,
you said that you would at any point basically throw yourself at the heels of any parent.
For my child, I will be so much thirstier than I would ever be with a normal human being. And basically my approach to any parent that I see has a kid that my kid wants to be friends with as I go up to that parent. I'm like, let's fuck. Spiritually, emotionally speaking, like, give me your number right now. Go for it.
Yes,
like,
you were like, just go for it. Put yourself out there. Don't worry about what it's going to look like for me to be so thirsty to want to hang out. So anyway, I did. I retexted the mom
and
George's mom, and I gotta say, like, kind of quick to text back.
I told you.
Guys, we're going on a second date. We're going on a second date. We're going to go to the Museum of Natural History.
A perfect second date.
Mostly because I want to go somewhere they can walk around so they can hold hands again.
Absolutely.
Because it's so sweet, the hand holding.
It's a balm for these times.
It is a balm for these times. BALM.
I never know how to say balm. Am I supposed to lean into that L?
Well,
it's a balm for the times.
Yeah, I mean, you don't say salmon. Unless you do.
Today I will.
You might.
Tonight.
You had salmon for lunch.
I had some salmon for lunch. But so that's okay. So you're going on a date. And is it still both moms and the mom and the dad?
Yes.
And the kids?
So Rachel and I and his mom and dad are going to go to the Museum of Natural History. And I am excited / nervous.
What are you going to wear?
To be
honest,
probably something very similar to what I'm wearing right now.
Knowing
like
you,
jeans and like
jeans and a collar top,
like a collar top,
or a crew neck,
and like maybe a baseball hat.
Okay,
yeah,
all right. Well, that tracks.
It's going to be a Sunday.
But you also that is what you wear Monday
pretty much
through
every
Saturday.
Day. That's
okay,
correct.
cool.
Yes.
I just want to be clear.
I don't like to shower on a Sunday.
Really?
If I can not shower on a Sunday, what a treat.
Can I just circling back to these times?
Yeah.
Which again, we won't go into too much specifically, but it's obviously dark.
Yeah.
This is going to not sound great.
Okay.
I do now take, if the news is rough.
Yeah.
I will take multiple baths a day.
I don't find any problem with that except for the extreme drought happening in California.
I gray water. But then I will say, like, during COVID, I had read this book. This is going to sound like a brag, but I read this book about the Blitz of London called The Splendid and the Vile.
Okay.
I know. Well, I was like, this was like a Blitz. Anyway, Winston Churchill, in the darkest of days, was taking multiple baths a day. He was. He would take 2 or 3 baths and be commanding the front.
And so you're just
from the bath.
You're Churchilling.
Basically, what I'm saying is I'm Winston Churchill.
Usually, I wouldn't want to be compared in any sort of physical way to Winston Churchill.
It's the only way I'm comparing.
But now I'm just
myself.
picturing you in a bath,
smoking
bald and smoking a cigar.
That's exactly what it is.
That's about where my references to Winston Churchill stop because I don't have many more.
That's all I got.
Cool.
All right. Well, I'm very excited for your
Thank you.
date. And I'm glad you took my advice. And I'm only glad because it worked out.
That's right. Same.
Okay. My update.
Okay.
Asking for a friend. So you are aware that I am on my online dating / Raya journey.
Yeah.
And
Raya, just to be clear for people at home, is fancy dating.
It's supposed to be fancy dating. It doesn't feel like the greatest of pickings.
Okay.
And that might be how people are feeling when they see me up there.
Impossible.
But okay, so I am texting with a gentleman who I guess what I'm asking is, he seems fine, he seems nice. I can't quite tell if he has a job. and I just feel like at this time in my life where I am 29 years old, I just want to know that the person has a job. And to be clear, I'm not gold digging.
Right.
I don't need them to have a lot of money. It's not about, are you rich?
It's just, are you gainfully employed?
Do you drive a bus?
Yeah.
You could drive an Uber. Is there just any kind of job happening? Because in Los Angeles, it feels like the connection between men and jobs is gossamer thin.
There are just so many people at lunch and at breakfast and on the streets during the day that you're like, does anybody work?
Does anyone work?
Yeah.
And it's not about the work itself or the money. It's just having a job or not. So is there a polite way to ask?
Well, I guess my question is, do you have it anywhere on your profile that like you are employed?
I mean, I say I'm a writer, which I guess is but
you're also a very Googleable person.
Like I have a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I say what I do.
Yeah. Which is the fact is that you do something and you don't know if he does anything.
Well, I don't. But I can't. It just feels so hard to find anyone who seems viable for, again, me at my advanced moment in life as a divorced, working, straight mother. Unlike you, HMG, happily married gay. Because everyone that I look at, am I being too dismissive of most people?
Well, I need more information.
Okay.
What do you know about him?
Nothing.
Just a picture? Just like a couple of pictures?
A couple of blurry pictures.
Blurry pictures?
Yeah.
Oh, run away.
One is mainly covered by a dog.
Okay, well, that's like a thirst trap, right? For like single women.
But I just feel like when I'm swiping, like there are things that just immediately are no's.
Like
if a man is wearing like any kind of bead, any bead is a no.
Yeah, I get that.
Like in Raya, they're also serving up men who live in other countries.
Excuse me?
I'm like, I'm already paying for Raya.
Yeah.
Am I getting? Oh, I'm not going to Zurich.
No. Although
all the hot guys seem to be in Zurich.
That's so strange. You can't put like a location or like a little mappy thing on it.
But there's still apparently like what I've asked for is so rare that they need to open up the borders.
Not the worst time to get an EU passport.
True.
Just letting you know. Okay.
Anyone on a surfboard is a no?
Really?
I just know that that's not a person for me.
Wow. I think surfing is kind of hot. But I guess I'm a HMG.
Dead to me. Anyone from Paris is a no for me.
What?
I just
blanket
know we won't.
no? Okay, the beads thing I totally understand because I think like men who accessorize are like hiding something. I don't know. I don't like it.
It's a limited number of accessories I would accept.
I accept like a necklace.
Necklace,
like maybe a ring.
A ring, sure.
But like I don't need
one ring.
You know what I don't need? 2 wrists full of bracelets.
Oh, I don't want some Steven Tyler motherfucker.
No.
In my fucking life.
No, and like when I think like there's something about, and I can say this because it's not what I'm looking for, but like men who overly accessorize or spend like straight men, I should say. Straight men. That overly accessorize or spend a ton of time like just on their appearance. There's just something about it that makes me nervous.
It makes me nervous. And along the Steven Tyler lines, I will say like one thing that always has made me sad, like when I see men with a lot of rings and bracelets.
Yeah.
I can't help but think about like the moment at night when they take them all off. And then like the very uncool moment in the morning when they have to put them all back on.
Yeah, it's the choice to put them all back on.
You know what I mean? It's like that little bit of work.
Yeah.
Like, is that your job?
Okay, so wait. So
is your job putting your jewelry on and off?
What are we calling the guy who we're not sure if he has a job?
It doesn't matter. We'll never see him. But I will say, when I was thinking about talking to you today and catching up on all of this, the more I swipe, the more I feel like I am slowly realizing that it is possible that like I will not have another great romantic love of my life again. And I've had a few.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when I first got divorced, like I was very sort of desperate to replace that feeling or whatever.
Yeah.
And I will say in a nice way, over time, I think I'm like sort of coming to grips with like, I have so many like dear friends and like loves in my life and my child, et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, I think actually it could be okay.
Of course it could.
But I didn't always think that.
I get it. It's hard to go from thinking like that your romantic love has to be the thing.
It is hard.
And then to realize that maybe that's not the thing for everyone.
But I think it's also like the greater, like just sort of having this feeling of peace that like I really do have so much love around me and love in my life via my very, very dear friends.
That's really lovely.
And that is a moment where I think we could segue into introducing our guest today, because I will say her show was like actually a big part of me having this realization.
That's amazing.
So if you want to do the honors.
I would absolutely do the honors of saying that today's friend is a comedian, actress, singer, and writer who is so multi-talented. We don't even know where to start.
Where to begin?
She's toured the world performing stand-up comedy and cabaret and has appeared in amazing movies like Patty Cakes and Breaking News in Yuba County, and is best known for starring in, writing on, and producing the incredible HBO show Somebody Somewhere, which has earned her rave reviews and honors, including a Peabody Award, a Critics' Choice Award nomination for Best Actress in a comedy series, and who knows what else to come. Bridget Everett, you're here to make friends!
Hi,
Bridget! Oh my God.
I was enjoying listening. I don't want to butt in. I feel like, you guys are on such a roll.
Get your butt in here.
Contribute.
Yeah, get your butt in here. I want to start by saying I was talking to my best friend, Kate, this morning on the phone, and I told her that we were going to be talking to you today. And I was like, do you have anything you would want me to ask Bridget? And she said, just tell her she means everything to me.
Oh
my God, that's so nice.
Story, true quote. And I just want to say, Bridget, I mean it when I say, so Somebody Somewhere, my favorite show of, I don't know, the last 70 years. And it really has meant so much to me. And so many people I know, and just specifically your character's friendship with Jeff Hiller's character, Joel. It is it's just this beautiful sort of meditation on like intimacy and vulnerability between friends. And I don't know, we wanted to know, was this based on a specific friendship in your life? The friendship between you and Joel?
I mean, there's a lot. A lot of what's in Joel comes from a friend of mine. But kind of the thing that you were talking about earlier, you have a lot of great loves in your life and all that. And I really wanted to do, well, we all wanted to do a show where it was like, that was a central focus. And because I feel like I'm not somebody that's, I'm always like searching out like romantic love. I'm fulfilled by the people around me and my friendships around me. And I kind of feel like in a way that's like sort of frowned upon. Yeah. So I want to do a show where it was celebrated, like if you're not like, so a lot of it, there's like specific things that came out of my friendship with this friend of mine. And specifically like in season 2, there's like a fight, like where Joel is like, I can't give you what you need. And I'm like, Sam's like, I don't want you to be my boyfriend. I want you. I don't want you to leave me. Like that. Like,
that moment is so incredible. Yes.
And so relatable.
So relatable.
But it's really interesting because I was like kind of embarrassed in some ways doing it, like focusing on that, because everybody around me is in a relationship, and I think some of the most significant relationships in my life are my friends. And I don't know. I think that, I don't know. So I guess it's kind of like Joel's a combination of a lot of people, and Jeff is so perfect and like this, he's so charismatic and charming, and you can't help but love him. And I don't know.
Yeah, you can't. I mean,
it's true. He's just like, you want to hug him.
You want to hug him and just
be hugged by him,
and be consensually also be hugged.
Yeah, consensual. Yeah.
I mean, I just need to say like I don't. Is it a spoiler to just say the line from the end of the series finale? Like, but just that moment where he says like, "I think you're my person."
Yeah, I mean, it's like
I lost it. I mean, I really did. I'm so serious when I say like that actually did light bulb for me. Like, I really felt like, oh yeah, light bulb moment. Like I think I feel that way. It felt so nice to see that mirrored.
Well, I think that like, for Sam and for me, we have a lot in common. We're not the same person. Sam is a character I play. Like, when people go into relationships, you sort of feel like you feel secondary, and you feel like, party of 3, and you're like the one ordering the coffee just to keep the night going. You know what I mean? Like, so I think, and like Sam, like Joel has kind of like brought Sam back to life, and I think she's worried. She's just sort of like defensively, like letting him kind of have his life and do his thing. And when he says it, you're my person, it's just like, to me, it like encapsulates a whole series. It's their whole relationship. And it's kind of what we worked towards when we were writing season 3. And I can't, I mean, to me, it's it's an overwhelming moment for me. Like I think we did it. We did a couple times. We did that in one take, and just sitting there, and like when he said that, it's just like,
yeah. No, were you sobbing? I mean, I know that I cried, and all of my friends who also, we would all watch the show at the same time and then have like a text thread going about it. Like everyone cried. Everyone cried.
Well, it's what you want to hear. It's all you want to hear from someone.
It's all you want to hear. And like, and I'm the same way, like I've sort of, we had a thing where we were going to do something about like an emergency contact or whatever. And that felt like kind of cheesier too on the nose. And like, we're sort of like, it's what you want to hear from someone. Just like you're saying, Liz, it's like Sam's kind of waited to hear that from someone. And she probably heard it from her sister before she died, but like everybody wants to matter to their friends, and to know that you're like that, everybody's got like, their lives and they're busy, but you want to know that you matter to the people that matter that much to you,
Yeah.
And for the people that you choose, because you choose your friends, like we choose each other. It's like a everyday thing, right? Where you're like electing to be in a relationship with that person. It's not a family member. So the fact that they would make that, it's almost like getting down on a knee or saying, you're the most beautiful person I've ever met. Spend the rest of your that's what you want, because it's because we don't have like that romantic like, get down on a knee moment with our friends. Like that's as close as you're gonna get.
Yeah. And there was something so beautiful about the way he did it. Like it was like, it's not something he'd been waiting to tell her. It was like, it wasn't the way he did it, really wasn't the way I anticipated when we were writing it, but he was just sort of like discovering it. Like, he's like, wait, you're my person. It's like so sweet. And the way he said it, I was like, oh.
Yeah, yes. And everyone at home was like, we already knew. We already knew. You are each other's person. It's so funny, just as a quick aside. So my son Asher is 9, and he's at an age where he's saying the darndest things. I know, it's crazy. But the other night, like apropos of nothing, he was said to me, like, he's like, I wish I could hire like good parents. I said, Asher, I was like, that kind of hurts my feelings. And he goes, oh, your headphones did fall off.
They really did.
Oh, no. I said, that kind of hurts my feelings. And he goes, no. He goes, I think I would still hire you.
Oh,
he was like, but he was like, I would just feel better knowing that I chose you. And I was like, honey, tell me about it. But it kind of was that what you just said, like he's not choosing me and he loves me.
Oh my God.
He just wishes he had the feeling of having chosen me, I guess. Look, we play a lot of mind games with each other.
He took you on a ride.
Yeah, that was
a ride.
Oh, it was a rough ride. It was no seatbelts. I was in the back.
So how much was the love letter to friendship at the forefront of the idea for the show? Like, did you know that's what you were going to explore from the beginning, or did it evolve once you discovered these characters and cast Jeff? Or
no, I think it was kind of the point from the top, because I didn't want to pursue like a romantic relationship. I really, and especially after we shot the pilot, like Jeff was so incredible, and it just, it was always the heart of the show. And like, I remember like somebody's like, oh, Jeff is like he's like the sprinkles. So I call Jeff Sprinks. Cause I'm like, I'm in this writer's, I'm doing everything, producing, writing, everything, doing all this work, number one on the call sheet. And everybody's like, but Jeff, he's a sprinkles. Sprinks. But he is, he makes everything a little bit sweeter and cuter.
That's so cute that he Sprinks.
Wait, does he have a nickname for you?
Well, everybody just sort of calls me number one, because I didn't demand it, but I just sort of like.
I didn't demand it, but I did put it in my contract.
Necklace,
that's a great necklace.
Okay.
You gotta, it took a long time to be number one on a call sheet. It may never happen again. So I wanted to. So we did it not in like a. I don't know, but they really did. A lot of people call me number one.
I love Bridget. I love that you're number one. Oh my God, we're gonna get it all off by the end. I mean, there is such a amazing chemistry between you guys. How did you cast Jeff? Did you know him before?
I did. Yeah, I knew him a little bit from like he was in the improv world, and I was kind of like downtown cabaret. And so we're like sort of just barely, when you do a graph and we're like that little tiny bit where the circles just cross.
I think it's called a Venn diagram, Bridget.
That's the one. For me, For me, it's more fun to make people guess what I'm trying to say. You know?
Well, you helped because you really made it. You did.
I'm having a great time.
With her
Yeah, you
well
got
done.
the visuals. I went to Arizona State. Yeah, anyway,
Party school.
Number one went to Arizona State.
That's right. But I happen to know a lot of people on that age range that are actors in New York at the time, and we met with some people in LA, and Jeff just came in and was like the person, like somebody that you might forget, like not remember from high school, and it's like so sweet, and it doesn't hold it against Sam that she doesn't remember him. He's like kind of idolized her. He just came in with like this. I don't know. He walked in the room. It was him. Like it's like that thing when you go in an audition, you're like, I don't know. I thought they didn't like me or whatever. But the truth is, people are just looking for the right person, and he was the right person.
You're my person. You had that moment in the audition. So
that's right.
So you immediately knew, I would imagine.
Yeah. And then we lived together for the first 2 seasons. Murray, who's played Frederick Coco, we all lived together. And the last season I lived by myself. But we
wait, you really lived together?
Like you? During filming, we had a house, and like we all lived together.
Oh my God!
We just lived together, like just a couple of frat guys or sorority girls. I don't know whichever one, but
frat girls. You were frat girls.
Yeah, frat girls.
Yeah,
we were frat girls, and I don't know. It was like we were at camp, so we were all Murray and I are old good friends and drive each other crazy sometimes, but love each other, of course. And Jeff was like fit seamlessly into our little threesome there. So, it was good times.
That makes me so happy to know that you guys all lived together during shooting.
That seems very fun.
I'm having.
Yeah, we had. Do you guys? Rob Cohen? Do you know Rob Cohen? Tall guy, is a director. He's been out.
Yes.
So he directed some episodes of the show, and he called it the Ding Dong Dorm, and I was like, yeah, that's true.
Oh my God.
What I wouldn't give to be in the Ding Dong.
I know. I really wish I'd been in this Ding Dong Dorm. That's
Wait, speaking of living with people, didn't you live with the actress who plays your sister? You were roommates at a certain point, right?
Yeah, Mary Catherine Garrison. Yeah, we lived together for maybe 8 years, 9 years. She says 10. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And early 2000s. We've lived together, and we're like sisters, and it really helped the show, I think.
Absolutely.
I was wondering if there was anything that came from the dynamic. I mean, she is so great on the show, and that dynamic feels so real, and also the way that it evolves and the way it goes back and forth between tremendous tenderness and love, and then also wanting to fully destroy each other.
Mary Catherine is very good at looking at me and kind of just she's like a straight. She knows me, and I think that because I'm not a trained actor, it was really helpful to have somebody that kind of had a foundational perspective of who I am, and it helped. I don't know.
Yeah,
use all the tools you got. It whatever it takes.
No, that's so fascinating to think about. That she, as both your friend and an actor, knew how to poke you in the right ways.
Yeah, let me tell you what. She's always been one of my favorite actors. She was killing it on Broadway when we were living together. She did so well, and I was waiting tables, but I was in those days, a lot of my friends were starting to take off, and I felt so cool because I was in close proximity to people that were on Broadway and on TV, and I was I'd be like, this means we're all one step closer. Yeah. So every time anybody got an opportunity, we're all one step closer. This is good. And,
and rising water raises all the boats. Yeah, whatever the thing.
All that thing.
Yeah.
And anyway, so she sort of took a step away from acting. She hadn't been doing as much, and then this came along. I'm just so happy because she can do anything. She can be funny and physical comedy and heartbreaking, and just does it all like that. Sometimes I'd be doing a scene with her, and I just felt like I was taking a master class while I was actually doing a job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Learning on the. There's a lot of people like that on the show, and she was definitely one of them. So it's pretty cool.
That's so cool. I love that you talked about the fact that as your friends got success, that you saw that as like a shared experience, or you experienced it as your own success and an extension, that if it could happen with them, it could happen with you, as opposed to, I think, a thing that would very easily happen, which would be like jealousy. I think because when you're in the same business and you're striving for the same stuff as your friends, like I think it could be easy to feel competitive. But I love what you said.
I can't speak to it. I've never felt jealous of anyone.
Oh, really? Interesting.
But
let's talk about it.
Let me come clean, because like but I do get jealous of people, but it's not people that are my friends. It's like somebody else that I'll see and I'll be like, what the, like how? and I stand by those feelings. Like some of those people like probably shouldn't be where they are, but life is different. And that's okay.
Sure. Yeah.
No, but for my friends, it really goes against my nature too, to sort of, want great things for other people, but that's really how I feel about my friends. I do love it. I love like when I see them succeeding. I really do feel that way. And I feel like it's happened. I feel like everybody around me, most everybody has gotten some kind of, the boats are all
boats are all in the sky. As the saying goes.
The boats are in the sky.
The boats went all the way to the sky because the water got so high for everybody all at once.
The clouds.
No, I do feel very proud of myself when I feel happy for someone else. Same. when I we also have mutual friends who've been having like some really great successes and wins, and like. Similarly, like it does not feel like my nature to have any joy, but when I feel it, I'm like, look at you!
Yes.
Oh, you really are an angel.
Well, it's interesting. The Lisa Kudrow gave me the Cooge, as I like to call her. Sometimes I can be really competitive, especially with other shows or whatever. And
is true.
She said there is no limited amount of success.
Yes.
Like, there's no cap on how much success
there is in the world. We don't need to be in a scarcity mindset.
Exactly.
It's also easy for her to say because she's sitting on the top of commercial and artistic success, friends, and and the comeback, just like two pinnacles. Like, hey, everybody gets a shot.
Yeah, fuck her.
You know what? Yeah, she stinks.
No, I think she's fantastic. She's so talented. I love her. I've met her. I think she's incredible. Like, I'm just having a little fun here. This
podcast is just fun. Should we ask the question we always ask?
I like the question.
Yeah, ask the question.
Bridget, who was your first friend?
Oh, my first friend, and still my oldest friend, Stephanie.
Stephanie
Weiss, now Stephanie Grinkowitz. We grew up, just about 3-4 houses down from each other. And when she was born in August, I'm born in April, and so our mothers brought us together. And so we've literally known each other since she was born, and I was her maid of honor. We are still, she just texted me last night. I got to text her back. But yeah, 52 years in.
That's incredible.
And she was in the, you wouldn't even remember, but like there's like a part where I'm on a bike and I like ride past her house and she's sitting on her front porch because we hang out. Yeah. And then there's like a scene in this last season. It's called, that porch life is because we hang out on her porch all the time. And, she organized big watch parties for our season finale and season 2 and season 3 in my hometown. And
Stephanie,
that's amazing.
Yeah. So we've good friends, really good friends.
And have you been sort of steady friends this whole time, or did you ever have sort of periods of distance? Or
no, we've been great friends pretty much the whole time. I mean, we've gotten closer again over the last several years, but and we had a couple of hiccups in like maybe 5th grade.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the classic 5th grade hiccups.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. 10 years old.
Well, they used to like make sure like the school and our parents would make sure that we weren't in the same class because it was a small school. So there'd be like 2 first grades, 2 second grades. Then they just didn't want us to be together when it sort of helped, but I don't know, like,
did they think you'd be bad influences on each other?
I don't really know why they did that with our older brothers too. I'm not sure. So
I think you want them you want to like make sure they're meeting other friends. You don't want anybody leaning too
that
hard
makes
onto
sense.
Okay, that
one
makes
friend.
sense.
But how lucky to have someone who lived so close end up being someone that you liked so much.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely like had times like where we had other best friends and other whatever, but like we've always, just remained close after, all this time, which is pretty miraculous. Like,
Yeah,
That really is.
It
It's
really
beautiful.
is. And especially, I will say, as someone who, again, I'm older than I used to be. I'm 49, and I have friends from when I was like, 10 or 11 years old. And I remember like my friend who I met when I was 10, when we were 15, we'd be like, we've been friends for 5 years. And now, you know what I mean? And then you'd be like, oh my God, we've been friends for 10 years. And now the number of years that you can have been friends with someone is like as old as kind of a middle-aged person.
Even like my adult friends, like the people that I've met, my friend Zach that I was talking about, years ago, like almost 8 years ago, we celebrated our 20-year friendship. We couldn't believe it. And now, like, we're coming up on 30. I'm like, what the?
Yes. Like, our friendship is old enough to drink and vote.
Yes.
So your show deservedly ended up on so many best of the year lists. You've been a critical darling, if it's not gross to say that.
A critical darling.
I mean, it's kind of
number one.
It has a ring to it.
Yeah.
And you're someone who has always had some, really fun and famous friends since before you were a fun and famous friend. So now that you're a household name, has it opened any doors to any new friends that your old self would be like so excited to say that you're friends with now?
Well, I don't know. I've met a lot of people that I kind of can't believe I've gotten to meet. And like, there was, Amy, of course, Schumer introduced me to everybody. And my friends, Craig and Michael Patrick King, I sort of met Jennifer Coolidge through them. Jennifer, so that was, I love Jennifer. Tim Bagley from the show, him and Amy both introduced me to Wanda Sykes, and I love her. Like, who else? This is years ago. I met probably through Amy, but I met Method Man, and I was like,
yes.
My heart is still somewhere in Brooklyn where I met him. I was like, just take it, have it.
We had Method Man on the set for Amy, and maybe that was it, actually. But we were all like, holy fucking shit, Method Man's here. And then I had to go up to him, and he was lovely. And I had to go up to him and like tell him to say something like fully insane. Or I was like, I think I had to say like, can you say like, this is where your poop comes out or something. And I honestly,
not that insane, honestly.
No. I mean, look, your poop comes out of somewhere, and I needed him to say where it was. And he just was like, and I was so nervous. And then I remember he just was like, okay. And I was like, okay. And then I had to go blast my brains out.
I heard of you long before I even met you when we worked on Two Broke Girls. Because Michael Patrick King, who was one of my idols, was the showrunner of Sex and the City, and such a talented writer. And I worked for him on Two Broke Girls. He was obsessed with you. I mean, he was like understandably, but he just was such a huge fan of yours. And I thought, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's got great taste in he just has like impeccable taste in people and talent. And so to me, you were famous before. I just knew you when.
Well, I love Michael. Michael changed my life. There's no other way to put it. And I love that man so much. And he, speaking of, he did introduce me to Sarah Jessica and Matthew Browder.
Heard of them.
So I was with them on Monday night, and I have to tell you, I love those two so much. So I guess that's one of those people. Like sometimes I'm just like, I've spent a lot of time with them in summers and stuff, and sometimes I'm like, oh wait, this is. I just look around the room. I'm like, how am I in a room with all these people? Like, it's weird. But then Andy Cohen, here I'm just like,
Please.
I told Andy Cohen, I was like talking about somebody. I was like, they're like one of those people that you kind of can't. You're so excited to see, and he's like, Bridget, you're one of those people, and I was like,
yes,
I just thought
100%.
But I thought it was like the nicest thing to say to somebody. I'm not saying that like it's because Andy said it, but it was like he said that to me. I really like was so surprised and taken aback by it, because like sometimes I just always think I come into a room, I'm always starting at zero because I'm so socially awkward and whatever. And he was like, oh, I was talking about Amy Sedaris. I was like, she's like you're so excited every time you get to see Amy Sedaris. She's so much fun. And, like she lights up her room. He's like, you're one of those people. And I don't know. And I think that's, I'm only saying it because I think sometimes we need to hear it when people say stuff to us, like I have a hard time like taking things in, and I've really tried to like hear that from him.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So
Bridget,
it was a really nice thing for somebody to do.
Yeah, but you are one of those people and have always been one of those people. And I remember the very first time I think I ever met you was on Amy's roof, I think at a party or something. And I just remember like being so immediately like charmed by you. And I also remember you were saying like, when you told me you're from Manhattan, Kansas, and I thought you were fucking with me, I was like, what? Doesn't make any sense. But I remember you made such a strong impression on me. I just was like, oh, I immediately adore this person. And I love that Andy said that to you, because it is such a beautiful thing to say to someone. You are someone like that. And 100%. I will say a compliment to Andy.
Yeah, honestly.
Is that he is the kind of person who knows to say that to somebody too.
To me, it's like, I'm less like trying to like fish about how that, I think it's really, I thought that was just such a generous thing that he did. Yeah. It was such a really, and like, it was just, I don't know. I just thought that was, I was really struck by that, because I think it's important to, and I don't really do it like I should, to let people know why they're special, or how, like that's a good thing to do. And I want to do more of that. But I just was really, I don't know. I thought that was such a great thing.
No,
that's all.
That
blah,
is,
blah, blah.
No.
Next question.
No. Hey, you don't need to blah, 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 honey. No, that is a beautiful story. And it makes me think about how you were saying when at the beginning, like talking about that moment of you're my person, and just at the risk of, I don't know. I'm not going to even say at the risk of being corny. It's not corny. Like anytime like that anyone makes you feel seen is so special. And this, not to brag, but like I was at the supermarket, brag, Gelson's, the other day.
Ooh,
and okay. What?
Somebody's making money.
I bought a Justin's almond butter. Anyway, and I've just been like working from home, and I don't leave my house really all that much. And I threw on clothes, and I went to the supermarket, and I'm just checking out. And this woman, I don't know, she was maybe in her late 60s, and she was cute. And she was like, can I just tell you? She was like, I love your outfit. She's like, you look so put together. And I honestly almost started to cry because it meant so much to me. And it was also just someone being really nice.
Yeah.
And again, at a moment.
And they're not making a TikTok about it. Like when people do it on TikTok, they're like, oh, I'm gonna go through I'm gonna give her a compliment. Hold on, and I'm rolling. Okay. You know what? I love your hair.
No.
I'm like, fuck off.
It was a clickless. It doesn't count. It was a clickless interaction. And she just was, I think, also in the world where now every day just feels like we're being stabbed with like 1,000 knives a minute. Just like any little fucking moment of kindness means so freaking much.
They're still out there.
They're still out there. And by the way, if you want a little bit more of that kind of lovin', we have some availability in our friend
circle.
I guess it's a circle.
Yeah.
Well, right now it's an incomplete circle, and we're looking to sort of fill it
Expand.
out. And so if you wanted to join sort of a really supportive and like if you wanted cool, a lot of
gorgeous
compliments.
So it's like it's you guys, it's the Cooge.
It's the woman at the supermarket.
It's that lady at the supermarket.
the woman from Gelson's.
It's these two guys you can't see.
It's the people in the room. I'm just saying,
it's my 2-year-old.
We would have a tiny teeny with you anytime.
Any tiny teeny anytime.
I will say, since your show, and I did already like a martini, but I had not really thought to call it a tiny teeny before. And then now I have like a whole group of friends, again, people you too would be friends with if you were to join the circle. And all we ever talk about now is like, do you want to come over for a tiny teeny? Now, I think I texted you this and I wrote what I thought it was, which is TINY space TINI. And then you wrote me back, I think TINI. Is it?
Well, I call it I say teeny.
Teeny. Teeny.
Like TINI.
A double teeny. But then wouldn't Joel say tiny teeny? Was I just hearing tiny teeny? Or is it teeny for both of you on the show?
It's teeny. I mean, he might have said tiny teeny. I can't track what he said in my head right now, but as written, it's teeny. Okay.
Oh,
I have a song. It's like, I love a teeny. Would you like a teeny? Yes, I'd like a teeny too. That's one teeny and another teeny. A teeny for me and you. Teeny.
Well,
First of all, you're a brilliant songwriter.
You're a brilliant songwriter. And hey, guess what?
That might be the time.
You just won a Grammy. This is the Grammys and you just won a Grammy. We didn't want to tell you before to make you nervous, but this is the Grammys and you won a Grammy.
So we like to talk about great moments in friendship on the show. Mm-hmm. And Jessi's told this incredible story about her dear friend stopping to get her favorite ravioli at a very tough moment during her pregnancy, and then going all the way from the very tip of Manhattan to Jessi in Brooklyn to then make her this ravioli and just to be there for her.
Wow.
And so we call that a ravioli moment.
My ravioli moment.
So my ravioli moment doesn't have to do with wheat pasta, but it does have to do with pad thai. So my wife gave birth to our beautiful daughter and had a few complications along the way afterwards. And so about 5 days after my daughter was born, we had to rush back to the hospital, which was really scary. And, we had to just sort of like go with the clothes on our back and didn't think about much. And luckily we had somebody staying with my daughter at the time. She was only 5 days old. And when we got to the emergency room, we realized we would be there for the next 6 to 46 hours. And I was starving, and my wife realized that she did not bring her breast pump. And so my dear friends, Rami and Danielle, went all the way from their house to our house, picked up Rachel's breast pump, and then they picked me up some pad thai. And they came to the emergency room and delivered the breast pump, and more importantly, the pad thai.
And more importantly, the most important, the pad thai.
And to be honest, I didn't ask them for the pad thai. They just brought it because they knew that I had been there for so long and that I'm a Jewish person who gets hungry.
Yeah.
And they then waited for Rachel to use the breast pump and then brought the milk back to my baby.
Wow.
If those are not friends.
That's a great ravioli moment. That's a great ravioli
moment. I mean, it's hard to top it.
It's hard to top it.
And I have some incredible friends, but that one really, exploded
good.
My heart into a million pieces.
Bridget, do you have like a ravioli moment, a great moment in friendship you want to share in terms of something a friend has done?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of, like, I had COVID one Christmas, and my friends used to make this turkey lasagna, so they knew that I loved it, and so they made it for me in a heart-shaped like crusade and dropped it off.
Wait, in a heart-shaped pan?
Like crusade, yeah, like a pot or a pan, yeah, like whatever.
God.
I didn't even know they had those.
And then my friend Larry always makes these desserts. We call them the tweemy dweemies. It's like
the what?
It's like
the tweemy dweemy.
Yeah, Tweemy.
Jessi,
And
it's a tweemy.
Yeah, it's like this pumpkin sort of pie custard thing. I don't know. It's chocolate scotch. It's incredible. And over the course of a week, I'll eat the whole thing. And then, but one thing that sort of comes to mind is when we were shooting season 1 of Somebody Somewhere. If you haven't seen it, you can stream it on Max. But
seen it.
My dog was in really bad shape. My dog Poppy, who was like the love of my life.
Love Poppy.
My best baby girl. I love you too, Lulu. Lulu's over there. She's my baby girl now. But Poppy was like the heart dog, or what do you call it? So Poppy she had cancer and like things were getting really bad. And anyway, my friend Carolyn, who's one of our producers, Carolyn Strauss, she had just flown in and like, anyway, I was like, I'm going to go, I'm leaving set. I'm going to go take Poppy to this doctor because they were going to take one of her eyes out. It was awful. And I don't know how she found out where I was or where the doctor's office was, but I pulled around the car with the driver that was driving me. And there was Carolyn sitting on the front stoop, just with her legs crossed, kind of like Jake in 16 Candles. And I was like, I just started weeping with an HWH weeping. Because she found a way to be there, and it was just like, she just showed up for me. And I don't know, like, it was just, I've never forgotten it. It's just like an image that stays in my mind, and a great reminder to just
show up.
Sometimes you just need to see your friends. Yeah, show up for your friends.
That's amazing.
So, that is amazing.
It's not a ravioli, but it was a good moment.
No, I mean, ravioli is a catch-all for any kind of amazing showing up. That
does not have to be carb related.
It doesn't have to be a carb. That is so amazing.
That is a beautiful thing to do for a person.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
And it is just like showing up. And the fact that...
Yeah. It was just like, I was so scared. And like, I was with Kim, who's my driver, but also my friend, and like, she was just taking me. So maybe Kim told Carolyn where we were going to be or something, but like, just all these people kind of like moving behind the scenes and just kind of show up and be there. I don't know. There was a lot of that. And I don't know. I think, so, like you said, like you were saying earlier, Liz, like, I know maybe it was you, Jessi, that said that there's a lot of love around you. And like, and it's just like, when we get the opportunity to see that and to feel it and be reminded of it, it's pretty spectacular.
It's truly, that is a perfect word. It is spectacular. And I love that you also referenced 16 Candles as the image of Carolyn Strauss sitting on the vet stool.
Well, then I was really able to picture it.
I was like, I know exactly what she looked like sitting there. That is amazing. Bridget.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Have we done it? We did it?
We did it.
We did it. I mean, we can go make our tiny, teeny teenies or our big teenies. No, thank you so much. This has been such a truly joyful conversation.
Yes.
I'm so happy to see your face.
I'm happy to see you guys and to talk to you. Thank you for having me on. And I think I'm going to have a teeny now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I really... but first, I got to source a little pad thie. That sounds so good right now.
No. Anytime we find out that you're in LA, we'll be asking you to Google accept the teeny invite that you will be receiving. Thank you so much, Bridget.
Thank you, Bridget.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. Follow us on social media at Here to Make Friends Pod and let us know who you think we should make friends with next. Email us at htmfpod@gmail.com and go out
and make a friend.
Make a friend.
Make a friend.
That was a Headgum podcast.